Hiring the wrong realtor is an absolute game changer when it comes to this market we're in right now. I'm going to talk to you about some things that I have going on, real life scenarios where this one question could save a ton of heartache and headaches and all the things. And I'm not here to tell you that I'm the greatest realtor in all the world, but I do have this one thing that if you ask your real estate agent or the guy you hire off of Zillow or whoever it might be, might save you thousands of dollars and lots of heartache and headache. So stay tuned. What's up, guys? I'm Jeremy Kane with eXp Realty and living in the Denver suburbs over on the YouTube channel. If you are watching this, please hit that like button, subscribe on the YouTube, follow on the Instagram, hit me up on Facebook, all of the things. But today we're going to talk about one of my superpowers and why it is saving deals and working through deals and doing all the things right here, right now in this market. So engage, let's have a conversation. You can always DM me. My contact information is below because I would love to have a conversation with you to help you along in your real estate journey. Whether you're just getting started, you think it's in the distant future, or you've been in the market and you have some assets that you're looking to capitalize on, we can talk about that. So first and foremost, let's talk about the market, right? This market is tough now more than ever. It's a market that we haven't seen really in my career. It's been pretty smooth sailing. Sellers kind of have the upper hand. Buyers were, when I first got in, there was, a couple multiple offer situations. Listings would sell pretty quickly, but not, in a weekend. Now we're back to kind of the typical 30 days on market kind of average. Some listings go in the first weekend. Some listings, stick around for a while. But the biggest difference is the buyers, right? And the actual commencement of the contract and what's going on. Here's the deal. Sellers that are selling right now might be a little bit tighter than they have been in the past because we've had a pretty, low appreciation rate across the, Denver metro area at 2% the last 2 years, which is abnormal, right? And so as we go, if you really step back and look at it, the average commission is, 4, 5, 6%, whatever it is. And if we're only seeing 2% appreciation each year and you have to sell in, the first year or the second year or the third year, you're at a break-even point very close, right? And so that's a huge deal. So sellers might be a little tight if they're having a quick turnaround on a sale. Buyers are tight because of the higher interest rates and all the things. So we have kind of a catch-22 here for sure. And so that's what the market is doing, right? Everybody's kind of elevated stress, a lot of things. And so I wanted to kind of paint that picture for you. Are people buying? Yes. Are people selling? Yes. I'm looking at 5 or 6 closings in the next 10 days, for my business as it is. So things are moving, things are doing what they need to do. So we're going to leave the one question you might ask till the end. We're going to give you 2 kind of scenarios that are going on. I will tell you that I have, 5, 6 transactions right now, and I have had changes and things and amendments and last second changes and all the things and all of them due to unforeseen circumstances, right? So let's talk. First and foremost, I have a reverse mortgage for purchase, an absolutely amazing opportunity for one of my clients to get into a home, not use all of their, equity that they took from their home that they just sold, and actually keep some money liquid. Right? This is, a strategy that's absolutely the key. Well, that product is an FHA product, right? Which has a couple, more overlays because of it being a reverse mortgage. But ultimately, with 50% down, my client may never have a mortgage payment again and be able to live in a home, that's absolutely necessary with just 50% down. Right? That's what we're looking at. Massive opportunity, ability to take, $400,000 or $500,000, put half of it down and keep the rest liquid for what life brings. Absolutely massive opportunity. However, being an FHA product, we're looking at a condo, we're trying to get this, single unit approval. There's very strict guidelines on taxes and HOAs. And, you thought the underwriter that looked at your scenario on your, normal conventional loan was intrusive. Well, we're talking like hey, what's going on? The current situation, there's a 6-day late tax payment on a holiday weekend from last year or from 2 years ago, and that's kind of the major holdup right now, right? And so this is something that, in most counties in this country would absolutely just be like, okay, that's a grace period, we're good. It's not even it's not even a problem. Well, it's a problem in his situation. So we're working through that. We're talking with underwriters. We're working it through exceptions to make this all work, right? So what's that, right? Well, we have a good relationship with the lender, who has a good relationship with the underwriter, and we're all working together to solve this common problem, right? I have a good relationship with my client, obviously, with my client's family. We're talking through this. We're, pushing it back. But also what we're doing is we have a seller on the other side. So we're keeping a copacetic, relationship with the listing agent and making sure that they're in the know, and communication is key, right? And so that is all, great. And we're moving this along. The buyer, the seller, they want to buy, they want to sell. The listing agent wants to get this transaction done. So we're continuing to amend the deadlines and get these things accomplished. Not our first, favorite thing ever to do, but something that we're doing. Right? Next, we have another contract that's going on right now. And unfortunately, I had a client who passed away, I think it was 4 or 5 days before he was supposed to sell. Right? He was the only owner. I have a relationship with, his daughter, and that's who I was kind of dealing with, in addition to him while he was alive. Well, right before closing, he passes away. Well, what do I do? Right? I say, hey, I got the guy. I call my personal estate attorney. He jumps on it. He's on a text message. He's on a call with my now client, who is the personal representative of the estate. And he's like, this is what we got to do. Right? Then I reach out to the buyer's agent in that situation, say, this is what happened. This is what we're doing. We work out, the specifics of extending the deadline, how we had to. Guys, we pushed the deadline to March 10th because we said it was going to be, 17 days, right? You have 10 days for the wait period, and then he thought he could do it in 7. Well, here we are, just 9 days after closing, or after, the 9 days after the original closing date, and we're going to push it forward. And he called me today and said, you could close today, my attorney, right? Well, now their attorney. But this is something that matters, right? And the question you need to ask, when you're speaking to an agent is, what are your connections, right? I'm not an attorney. I'm not an accountant. I'm not a lender. I'm not, doing both sides of any deals. But my ability to connect with other people and have connections to be able to put that estate attorney, Chris Gordon, by the way, massive shout out if you're in the Colorado area, make sure he's taking care of all your estate needs. But you have these people and you have them quickly, and you can put them in contact with, in this situation, a daughter of someone who just lost their dad, right? And I know that it's going to be done right. It's going to be done professionally and taken care of. And it absolutely was, right? 10-day wait period. It's Wednesday. He called me today and said, hey, court documents are ready. I drove to the courthouse. I took those papers to the personal representative, my client. She went to the bank, got a bank account. We're signing tomorrow. The buyers are signing Friday. And here we are. We're going to have a closing, this week. Absolutely incredible when you think about that, when you think about, estates and wills and testate and all those things that kind of come into play. Knowing the right people and having those connections, first off, took this completely off of my client who's grieving's plate and got it done correctly in the right amount of time. The buyer's happy, the buyer's agent's happy. P.S. This home, is a condo as well, and there's an HOA issue, so there can't be loans on this property. So we held this together. We had a cash buyer. We had the right people. Communication, connection. The number one thing you need to ask your clients is, what are your connections like in the event something goes wrong? And I hope and pray that nothing ever goes wrong for you in your situation, but sometimes things come up in these transactions and they're absolutely needed, right? Do you have the right insurance guy? Do you have the right lender? Do you have the right, contractor that can get this done? Do you have the right inspector, right? And after we close, do you have the right restaurant owner? Do you have the right hairstylist? All those things can happen. And as an agent, my superpower is connecting, right? My superpower as a leader of agents is connecting other agents to other agents, finding deals, finding, all kinds of business that happens, right? I talked about that event the other day. One of my good buddies within my group that's in the Bay Area in California came out to this event because I had connected him with this lender who, I've talked about, I've had on the channel, Nicole Ruth, and he wanted to come meet her and support her at her event, right? Those connections are key, right? While Shane was here, I connected him to other agents in my group, organization, and now he's, in contact with those guys. So if we can make this world, this globe more connected and have as many things and resources as possible, I can be really good at my job in real estate. I know the contract, I know the rules, I know how it works, I know how to protect you and your interests or earnest money, all the things, but I don't know how to file an estate plan and get an appointment of a personal representative. I don't know how to file your taxes based on, your unique situation. And so having those connections is absolutely key. And a lot of agents just focus on the next lead and the next lead and the next lead, and they're not making these connections as they go. Partially because maybe if you double click on that button on that specific website, that agent's required to drive you, to a specific lender. Or they click on that website and, you connect to this agent, you have to go to that lender. They have an insurance company involved with their brokerage. They have all of these things involved with their setup that you're kind of in that circle, right? Granted, if that's great, it's good, but these connections sometimes are forced upon, agents, and, there's certainly affiliated business disclosures and things that are required, but ultimately I like to find the very best professionals, not the, way to make this broker owner or this team leader or this agent the most amount of money. That's not my job. My job is for my clients to have the very best experience. So I pride myself on connecting them with the very best professionals, and I hold those professionals to standards, right? Certainly we're not all perfect. Sometimes there's mistakes made. Those professionals make mistakes. But the truth is if the mistake could have been avoided, if it's communication error, if it's all of that, then they don't get those connections anymore. And they work for that. It's important when it comes from me, just like I take care of their needs and their referrals when they come to me, they take care of mine. So connection is key. So make sure you're asking, right? What's your circle look like? What are the connections that you have? What's the craziest thing you've seen come up, and how did you solve that problem for someone that's similar to me? Those questions are absolutely massive. So instead of Googling, what questions ask Realtor and go down, those things, are you an individual agent? Do you have a team? Will I be dealing with you? All those questions that, you can Google. Hopefully you found this video and you ask this one question, and you'll be able to tell a lot and how comfortable they are in their skin from somebody who's ultra connected and has the resources to truly serve you as an agent. So I hope this helps. I hope you have a great evening. Like, comment, subscribe, share this with somebody. As always, if you have any questions about real estate, you have an idea, you have a dream, you have a goal, reach out. My goal is to help you build wealth through real estate. We'll talk to you next time. Bye-bye.